Oh yeah, I was in number 11.
Oh really?
I did a cover on number 11.
Oh right, so yes. And well, John was the newborn.
Yeah.
The new boy there, Anthony.
You know, when they did those science fiction, they did some like stories where fans could send in artwork, and it was good enough to appear on the cover. And I did a cover which was a telephone with tentacles coming from it. So that was the very first thing I did, and that was in 77.
Can you hear us okay, by the way? Yeah. Okay, good.
Good. No, you carry on.
Well, I think a lot of us did. I mean, to begin with, I just drew covers. I was working on something else for Barden Press, and Barden Press was my agent, and I did those myself covers before I was an interior, the number, whatever it was you said.
And people talk a lot about that time as there being the British invasion and lots of people moving over to America. Can you talk to us a little bit about if that had an effect on your career or what it was like working in comics at that time? Sure. Yes, please.
Well, I think the so-called British invasion started with me. Yeah.
We thank you.
The British invasion of the American comic scene is what I'm talking about. Because Dave Gibbons and I were, you two, I don't know, were fans of Marvel comics, DC and Marvel.
DC.
Me too. I was never into Marvel, you know. I was so weird that, no. And I had an American artist called Joe Staton over at my flat. He needed to carry on working while he was in this country, and we lent him my spare drawing table, my wife's drawing table. So I met this American artist who was drawing Green Lantern, and I was a fan of Green Lantern, and I said to him I'd love to draw some, and he rang up his editor in America, whose name was Jack Harris, and Joe said there's this British guy who'd like to do a Green Lantern cover. So my first work in 1979 for DC was because of this arrangement. And back in those days, we didn't really have the technology to get artwork across the Atlantic. We didn't have the internet or anything. We had a fax machine. So I did some work really early on, just doing covers for DC, and then Dave and Kevin O'Neill, and then eventually they came over here prospecting for some of the talent, and a lot of us ended up working in the American scene, and I think that came to be known as the British invasion.
It's your fault as the
It's my fault.
Did you ever do any American comics?
No, I never did. No, the thing is, Dave Gibbons and your stuff is very American looking. Especially Dave Gibbons was very sort of DC comics.
Yeah, we fit into that whole thing.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you were getting into that, I was actually leaving.
Yeah, you took one look at it and thought, I don't like this, I don't like it.
I was amazed that my mum would go down well, because his stuff is certainly not American looking, is it?
Mick's work is unique, isn't it? There's just absolutely nobody like that. I'm a huge fan of Mick's work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's not really American looking, is it?
No, he's done a few things in the Americans. He did was it the Last American, was it called? Which was extraordinary stuff.
I think the great thing about that particular time when we were working for America, they were willing to experiment in DC in particular. And so like Arthur Goodwin was one of the best editors in America, in the world. Basically, he liked off-the-wall stuff, so he tended to be the editor. I don't know who's the editor for you, but he was the editor for like Kevin O'Neill and Mick McMahon and people like that. So he worked on Epic, didn't he? It was Epic that's like first used Mick McMahon.
Really, was it? Well, I mean, DC.
That's my art.
It's the heart of comics.
I mean, DC Comics, they introduced a whole branch of DC Comics called Vertigo. Somebody said that Vertigo is where all the whining Brits go.
Well, the British style at that time was much more like edgy, and I know the writer Mike Dorey was a big fan of yours, Mike, as well. He said that your artwork in his early books was so edgy that you could smell savage. I won't be asking you later what you think savage smells like, but maybe that's not now. But what do you think is different about this style of the American? What do you think makes the British style more edgy?
Well, American comics is all superheroes, isn't it? I don't think we really are primarily superheroes here.
Science fiction.
Yeah.
I know you're not the.
No, but I think the reason, as I said before, Dave Gibbons especially, his style's American. He he did, what's the Harlem Hero? What's the thing he did? Was it Harlem Hero?
It was Harlem
Well,
Heroes.
that could have been in an American comic.
Yes.
And your stuff as well is really...
Well, Dave's and my earlier work before 2008 was called Power Man, which was a superhero comic for Africa.
Yeah.
They required Superman to go to be sold in Nigeria, so we were required for 2 years to draw our Superman, basically.
Yeah, but I can understand why you and Dave got on so well in America, because your stuff really suits the market.
It does sort of fit.
Do you think it's because, do you think there was a bigger European, you see there was lots of European comics, do you think those European comics had more influence on our British artists, or do you think not?
I think so.
Well, some of their artists are fantastic. Some of the Italians and Spanish artists are really, really good. Just look at their work, it's so good.
Yes.
Well, they used a lot of them. There's a great mix of the European artists working on the own.
There was, yes.
I mean, it's like, as you said, the Italian, yeah.
I mean, my favourite artist growing up was Jesus Blasco, and he was in the first issue of 2008, a thing called Invasion, and he did Steel Claw when I was in my teens, which I love. Are you familiar with Jesus Blasco's work on Steel Claw?
Yeah.
They're doing some quite nice collected editions of those now.
Very much so, yeah.